Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is a regular on Open Conversation. He is a legal practitioner. He is also a human rights advocate and he is the convener of Lawyers Without Borders. His name is Asim Adams, Esquire. Good morning, Asim, and welcome.
Good morning to you, Laurentia. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning.
And on to the story. River State High Court, sitting in Oyibo, has adjourned indefinitely the suit filed by Governor Similaye Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Odo, challenging the impeachment process initiated by the River State House of Assembly. The adjournment effectively shifts the legal battle to the Court of Appeal. Justice Florence Fiberisima took the decision after Defense Counsel S.I. Amen informed the court of a pending appeal on the same subject and requested a suspension of proceedings. Counsel to the claimants and other defendants did not oppose the application, prompting the court to step aside pending outcome of the appeal. The judge also suspended the ex parte order she granted on January 16, which restrained the River State Chief Judge from receiving or acting on any impeachment notice against Fubara and Odo. She noted that the appellate court's decision would guide further evidence and determination of the substantive suit. The impeachment process began on January 8 following allegations of gross misconduct against the governor and his deputy, including budgetary impropriety and unauthorized expenditure. With the High Court suspending proceedings and the Chief Judge declining to constitute a probe panel due to subsisting court orders, the impeachment push now awaits the verdict of the Court of Appeal. Asim, what do you make of this story?
Well, it's a very good development. The rights of individuals, as enshrined in our Constitution, especially Section 46 of 1 of the 1999 Constitution, is being espoused, at this point in time. The governor and his deputy ran to court, which the Constitution gives them the right to so do. Now, the Constitution at the same time gives the defendants in that particular case to go on appeal where a particular ruling is against them, or they are not, too happy with the ruling of the lower court. They have to go to, the Court of Appeal. The only thing I see here, which I have to reiterate, is that this same speed of thunder and lightning that the judicature in River State and the Court of Appeal has handled this political matter, they should extend same to criminal matters in Nigeria. They should extend same to other civil matters before the courts. Now, why I say this? The interim injunction that was gotten by the governor and his deputy, when you go through it, you will find out that it was done with light speed. It was filed, and within seconds or maybe minutes, the order was granted. Yes, it's an ex parte order, but the speed and expeditious nature in which this political, matter before the court was disposed of, beats me hollow that the judicature can work so fast or quickly. But in these same lower courts, I can dare say that there are matters burden of fundamental human rights of ordinary citizens. Nigerians, matters have been pending since 2021. And the courts, will not even adjudicate as quickly as possible. There are motions before this particular court, which are ordinary motions that will determine the bail of Nigerian citizens, ordinary Nigerian citizens. But the courts will not even look at it. They will give a far-flung date and say that is when the bail application will be heard. Meanwhile, this particular application touches on the rights of the individual that has made that particular application. Also, on fundamental human rights, we have seen situations where the courts decline jurisdiction to not say that they cannot restrain the police from, do their duties of investigation and arrest. The court will say, we like jurisdiction. Even if you bring an expert order, they will say, no, go and put police. Somebody run to court to tell you that my rights, my freedom is being threatened by a security agency. And he's coming before you, the court, to protect him. By way of a motion ex parte, while the substantive suit is there, the court will decline that ex parte application on the ground that you have to go and report that they don't have jurisdiction at this point in time to stop police from doing their job. That you have to serve the police the motion of notice. By the time you are about doing the motion of notice, the police will come and arrest the man because the court declined. This has been the problem we are having in this our judiciary, where we say they are sometimes very corrupt and very arrogant. But in this instance, the Constitution under section 188, sub 10 says clearly that there is what called ouster of court in handling a matter before you, but you went ahead and assumed jurisdiction and determined that particular matter because it's a political matter. Is it not double standard? Because it is a political matter. I have been before a federal judge. After my sourcing argument, he said no, that we cannot determine the proprietary of the applicant's right not to go to the police station to answer to queries that the police have put on him while they are looking for him. You understand that we should go there and resolve, or we come here, serve them. We were able to tell him, my lord, we have this client is under threat of being arrested anytime. That is why we are in court. You understand? The court said no, we can't stop police from doing their work. But in this case, the courts have taken jurisdiction in a political matter where the Constitution says you don't have jurisdiction here because it is between the politicians, big men, open and close, big men. It is because it's between them. You have acted, but the ordinary man on the street will come with such application for protection. You will not say to go there. Why can't the court say, like they told us, go and answer to your whatever? We have not seen where they have breached your rights. We have not seen where police have breached your right, because police have the right to invite you. Police have the right to do this to you. It is so your rights have not been breached. They dismiss they strike out the application. But in this case, you have not ordered the governor or deputy governor to appear before the panel. Why did you not order the deputy governor and the governor to appear before the panel before complaining? In military parlance, they so-called obey before complain. So why our judicature, playing double standard? When it comes to the ordinary man, you know that you don't have jurisdiction. I have seen a situation where we made an application before a federal judge, and in that application there's a motion or notice on it, and under the FREP rules, under the FREP rule 2009, there is a situation where if I feel that imminently that police will come after me, I can go by way of ex parte motion to stop the police from arresting me before the matter in court here. You understand the point? They will decline, so they will say they don't have that jurisdiction to stop police from doing their work. So this is where I feel so sad about when I hear court, Supreme Court, they rely on two cases to say because Supreme Court said so, it is as case may be, then that is the procedure. Why can't you apply same when it involves the common man? That is the first question I want to ask. Two, why is it that you deliver and dispatch political matters expeditiously more than the matters that border on critical fundamental human rights breaches against ordinary Nigerian citizens? These are questions I'm asking the judicature. They won't be able to explain it. Maybe one day they will explain it. So if you protect the big and the mighty, the wealthy politicians, the same protection should go to the dregs of the society, the ordinary Nigerians who are citizens of this country, because the constitution does not know whether you are poor or rich or powerful. It says every citizen that calls for you must dispense justice. So why have they not quickly done those? There are so many applications pending before some of these courts about people in prison, and bail application is listed. They take the date to June of this year. So I asked that question. That is why I'm so sad this morning when I read all these things. Now, coming down, having discussed that, coming down to the issues at stake. Now, the court did the right thing. It was good that the other party went on appeal, which is the right, like I said before. Now, in that particular appeal, the lower court has to, stand down. Although the lower court has, a discretion to either stand down or not stand down, because there was no particular order from the Court of Appeal asking them to stay proceedings. They only came to court and said, we have filed an appeal on this particular matter. But the appeal has not been heard. But the lower court, used its discretion to now say there was no opposition from the other lawyers, and the court went on to say that they are standing this matter signed down, that is indefinitely, which is within the discretion of the lower court. And I give credit to the judge at Oyigbo for following the law. Some judges would have been recalcitrant. Some judges would have meddled into whatever, say we have not gotten any leave, any order from the higher court for us to stay proceedings, because mere filing of appeal does not act as a stay. He could have done that. But this particular judge, Fiberesimo, whatever I think her name, went further to examine and periscope and said the reason why I am even standing down this matter, stand down, is because the issue of the ex parte touches on the issue in the main suit. And that is the propriety or impropriety of the CJ setting up a 7-member, panel. If I go ahead to begin to hear the other whatever, and it will destroy, the rest. That is what we are trying to protect. So cleverly and correctly, she stood that matter down, signed down, waiting for judgment to come from, or ruling to come from appeal court for directions, as the case may be. It might get there, the appeal court might vacate the order. You understand the point now? The appeal court may vacate the order or may let the order subsist while parties go back to the court to go and iron out
but
issues.
In this instance, the judge, Justice Florence Fiberesima, she has, according to the story, she has also suspended that order.
That's right. So she suspended everything pertaining to that particular suit.
So if that order has been suspended, it means that the injunction barring the CJ
is lifted now for now.
So
technically.
So even if whether the appeal convenes over this matter immediately or not, the CJ can go ahead to set up the 7-man committee.
No, the CJ cannot touch it now.
Okay, cannot touch it.
Nobody can touch it because already the matter is before the Superior Court.
Okay.
So all parties must maintain status quo ante bellum, then status quo ante litem. Okay. You understand? Ante bellum is before, ante litem is present. As it may be, that is as the matter is going on right now. So nobody can touch it. If the CJ or anybody decides to do otherwise, he will be acting ultra virus the order of court, and that is not very pleasant. So when you see there's a matter before the court, it is elementary that all parties should just hold on, let the court decide, because if you destroy the rest, then what is the court going to adjudicate upon? So these are things that we have to work on, and that is why you find out that I have given salutations to the Rivers State House of Assembly members. They have not been rascally as some people think they are. Some of them would have been, boiling over and saying, no, right now the order is suspended, we don't care, an appeal, CJ must set up. Or they use some other voodoo type or Jankarak type to say they impeach, and you now find out that the state will now be in turmoil. You understand? There's some rascally people like it happened in Ladoja's case. Ladoja, they went to Hotel de Rovans to go there and do their impeachment. And before you knew what was happening, Legislature was taken out. Because the CEC that time was support. You know, even the, what was this case, the one Plateau State, about 9. Even the higher fire shape about 7 or 8 of them. So because the CEC, yeah, 9. So they could sit and do whatever. And even the Oyo, they even had to sit in a hotel. The Rovers Hotel in Ibadan. You understand? To do whatever.
I think in the history of Nigerian impeachment, one was done in a vehicle.
A lot of them, one of the under 3.
Was done in the bus.
That of, I know of a fire shade. Right. Fire shade so was done in the bus. They later went under a cool tree, under the tree, and they sat down and you understand the point. Because the House of Assembly was bad, you know. And let me even make some distinctions. Because the people who have been talking about this matter should go and look. Because, you know, there is no time 2 cases we have the same facts, you know, down the line. In the case of Ladoja, it was even some of the assembly members that went to court. Do you understand? Claiming that the procedures were not followed. In the Ondo State, Ayeditiwa matter, is the same thing. The letters were not distributed as it ought to be to members, etc. So, when the court ruled on these 2, whatever, that the court can intervene, even though you have section 188 sub 10, they saw that there was outright, you know, breaches of the procedure as contained in section 188 sub 1 to 9. But in this case in Rivers State, the question I'm asking the courts, which nobody, they'll be talking of this based on sentiments. Nobody has been able to answer is this. The House of Assembly said they have followed the whole procedures. We have watched it on television. We have seen it the way it is. That the governor says he didn't receive the letter from the House of Assembly. But the Chief Judge confirmed that there was a letter.
Not much letter during a public hearing.
A public hearing, and that's a love letter. Even as that, the question I want to ask is this: before the House of Assembly could have written to the CJ to consult a panel, it means that, you know, overtly or covertly, that letter must or may have been dispatched, because it's the first procedure you have to take before you get to this level.
No, but it seems now, if we are to go with the assertion that the governor did not receive the letter, the question would be, what document, what locus did they have to go to the court? What evidence did they
that is what I'm asking
before the judge to pass that injunction?
And people don't want to understand. On what ground, you know, do they have such to not even allow that particular expert to go on? Because it didn't start. What are the facts? Were they facts? In their now say why it's not explained. To get these 2 people, allegations are made by us. Whether the allegations are true or not, it is the panel that will determine that the allegations, whether they are factual or not. It is that panel that will determine that. Right? I just think one and the rest of them. The question that because of work. Now, let me give you a that somebody, the person, not even answering the police in this case, to invoke because God three has the right to, ask the CJ to set up a settlement panel. It is the right of the constitution. The panel has not been set up to even question whether you are guilty or not. Here, if the panel had found you guilty, then you now say the panel were not fair. You can come to us because you have answered the invite of the panel. At least you've got where police were the matter was before the judge. The matter even in their bedroom and kitchens. and give friends gifts, because you can put your hand there without the premature authority of the legislator. That is what they are protecting.
Right.
You understand? It's sad.
Before we move on to the next story, very important, I want a clarification on the proceedings with regards to the impeachment. Now, the Constitution laid it clear. You talked about the governor and deputy governor appearing before the panel to defend the allegations against. Now, is there anywhere in the Constitution, because I want that distinction to be made very clearly, is there anywhere in the Constitution that they said to the governor, they have whatever their defense is, that clarification? And in the Constitution again, that the governor has 14 days to respond to that letter. I need clarification on
Let
that.
me go to the Constitution so that you will understand whatever, the governor, not impeachment of he will look at it. He said the first he said this one of the members of the House of Assembly. Of the House of Assembly shall within the nature of the notice to be served on the holder of the office, governor or deputy governor, and on each member of the House of Assembly. So you have two functions here. After serving the governor, you must serve each member of the House of Assembly. In Joshua, in Yeditiwa's case, these particular notices were not served. In what's his name, the Ladoja, that is in Nakoju, that's in Nakoju's case. These particular notices were not served on the members. It was not even served on the governor. So the people that went to court were even members of the House of Assembly that said they were supporting Ladoja, they don't want him to be impeached. They now said, you have not served governors, that the Constitution says you should serve us also after serving governors. Did you serve us? Did you give us any letter? They couldn't prove it. So there were real evidence to show to court that made the court say that impeachment cannot go on. Are you getting my point now? So, and shall also cause any statement made in reply to the allegation by the holder of the office to be served on it. So if you find out that the man writes, once he writes, in this case, you also serve the reply assembly.
All right.
Within 14 days of the presentation of the notice to the Speaker of the House of Assembly, whether or not any statement was made by the holder of the office in reply to the allegations contained in the notice, the House shall, Are you getting my point? So, if civil matter does not respond to the letter served on him,
14 days.
Ugozi did not even respond. They can respond or choose not to respond.
Okay.
So if you wait for 14 days, which the House of Assembly waited for, if you wait for 14 days and they didn't serve, they didn't respond, that is the constitution say shall, that is members shall resolve by motion. That is, they will not see that the speaker will not say, the man did not bring anything, no. Then we are going to resolve it by motion now. Then it is now resolved by motion without any debate. You don't even need to debate it. So you just sit down, the speaker will say, vote. Somebody will move the motion, then you vote. And this was done. A motion of the House of Assembly that the allegation be investigated shall not be declared as having been passed unless it is supported by votes of no less than 2/3, which they got.
Okay.
That is that day they spoke. They had 26 out of 26 signed. Even in the House of Assembly, about 32. So that's even more than 2/3. Some percentage, as case may be. So they had this. Then shall not be declared as having been passed unless it is supported by the votes of no less than 2/3 majority of all members of the House of Assembly. Are you getting my point now?
Yes.
2/3 majority of all members of the House of Assembly. Rivers State House of Assembly is 32 or 31, but 26 out of 32 are only 6 people were absent, or you have the right not to vote. You have the right to abstain from voting, but they were able to get 26, which they got. The House of Assembly, Rivers State, got it. Within 7 days of the passing of a motion, this motion now got it by 2/3. Under the foregoing provision of this session, the chief judge of the state shall, at the request. So this was the stage they CJ to set up a panel of 7 men of integrity and those with unquestionable character. I know this will be difficult to achieve or get. So that was the stage they were before they now ran to court. Before they now ran to court. You understand the point? Before they now ran to court to stop the process. All right? So the question we are asking now, I don't know if the courts have examined all these things. So where did they go wrong? This is the question I'm asking right now. And even if Section 188, sub 10, has ousted jurisdiction of the courts from doing this. If you go to Section 1 sub 3 of the 1999 Constitution, it says that if any law or any pattern is inconsistent with any part of this Constitution, that particular thing is null and void. So I don't really know, although our discourse here is mere academics, because already courts have taken their own steps. But in my own opinion, I feel that it is unfair. It is unfair of the courts to assume jurisdiction. The courts have said that they are assuming jurisdiction based on Section 6 sub 6 of the 1999 Constitution, that they can talk on anything at all under the earth, as the case may be, as enshrined in the Constitution for them to do. But there are some issues that Stanley Montesquieu, the man that propounded the separation of power theory, it will shock you. He saw this kind of a thing, coming, and I did, a statement, because he knows there are tyrants. In Rivers State, we have tyrants in power now. We have dictators in power, executive rascality, and those who do not want the state to move on. Those who are the aggressors, but they pretend to be victims. That is what is playing out in Rivers State. I don't care what people will say about it, but this is the truth of the matter. Let me tell you what Baron, Stanley Montesquieu, the man who propounded legislative, judicial, and executive arm of government, that they should work separately, as case may be. Look at what he said about law. Just what the judge did in Oyibo. Let me give you a quote. There is no greater tyranny than that which is perpetuated under the shield of the law and in the name of justice. Baron Stanley Montesquieu. There is no greater tyranny than that which is perpetuated under the shade of the law and in the name of justice. That is what the judge did. The judge now said that because Supreme Court said, so I have the right to neglect and overt and circumvent the Constitution because I am the interpreter of the constitutional provision. I am the interpreter, so I can take out what that judge or the judicature in Nigeria has done today is that section 188 sub 10 is being taken off or amended without the input of the National Assembly. People are jumping up and celebrating without the input of the National Assembly. A lot of judicial mishaps has happened in Nigeria, and the National Assembly has not deemed fit to correct this. In a Metis case versus INEC, which they said lawyers should not be using as precedent today, that first Amechi case that they say yes, we can help, that said that as Amechi was removed, you saw what the Supreme Court twisted whatever to be, and made Amechi who did not campaign, who did not go through primaries and campaigns. He became the governor of Rivers State. As Celeste Numeha, who the people voted for, who campaigned. They now came under a particular technical whatever. And that particular DC was now rectified by the National Assembly quickly. I think under section 23 or so, I will check the correct listing of the Electoral Act 2022 about candidacy, etc. That was what led to that amendment under the Electoral Act.
And the Supreme Court says that judgment cannot be cited.
That is what they said at the because it obviated the laws at that time. The same thing is what has happened here now. The conflict of laws, when you look at it, Lord Denman said that the moment a judge can contract and expand the law, but the moment the judge finds out that the contraction and expansion is going to cause injustice to another party, then the judge has to kind of put justice at the helm of affairs. The whatever was justice put at the helm of affairs. The second one is that was the Constitution of Nigeria dismembered, lobotomized, vandalized by the court in Obigbo? In my own opinion, I would say yes. It is academic, though, but by own postulation and whatever it is. And I rest my case on, the postulation of Baron Stanley Mutescu, who propounded the issue of separation of powers. He saw it coming. He saw Rivers State. He saw Rivers High Court. He saw the future that in some years to come, Syria were going to behave like this and obviate the Constitution to say they are relying on a particular law to do injustice. Injustice was done in this case before the Obigbo High Court, and the law has been what is demoralizing for all of us. The demagoguery of the judicature in Rivers State has been so pronounced. For anybody listening to me today, I want to say that the Nigeria judicature has disappointed once more, especially to Rivers State, by the unbridled use of ex parte orders to cause harm, to cause vandalization, to cause dismembering, to cause distortion, and usurp powers meant for the National Assembly. And that finally asks the question, is the judge or judgment of a court a law or a precedent? That is what we want to find out.
Right.
It will be a discourse another day. Is the judgment of a court a law or a precedent? So if it is a law, it means that they have made a law, then we don't need constitution. Then we should go back to unwritten constitution like what happens in Britain.
All right.
So these are the issues. It beats me whole. I'm so very, very, glad. But the House of Assembly keep on. One day, justice will be done in this matter. One thing I find out is that a lot of people want to get justice immediately. No, now, how do you not send template for a country that we respect the rule of law, etc. It takes a long time. You will bleed and cry. But at the end of the day, generations yet unborn are those who are going to enjoy good laws. When we juggle this particular whatever now, conflict of laws, and the judicature leaning to support one to create some problem, especially for the high and mighty. But for those low-class people like us, if we have any problem, we can't run to the court for protection. It's a sad one.
All right. Moving forward, still on Rivers State crisis, member of the House of Representatives, Solomon Bob, has criticized President Bola Tinubu's special advisor on policy communication, Daniel Bwala, over comments on Rivers State political crisis and the role of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. Bob described Bwala as attention seeker, whose remarks amounted to a deliberate distortion of facts. Bob, who represents Abua Udual Ahoda East Federal Constituency, was reacting to Bwala's television comments, suggesting that Wike had been adequately compensated by the Tinubu administration and was frustrating Governor Siminalayi Fubara's ability to govern. In a statement issued in Port Harcourt, Bob said the comments were cheeky, unwarranted, and driven by personal bias. Defending Wike's record, the lawmaker argued that the FCT minister's performance was being unfairly downplayed. He said Wike initiated the decision for the FCT administration to exit the Treasury's single account, adding that President Tinubu's approval reflected confidence rooted in Wike's track record as Rivers governor. Bob also faulted Bwala for projecting personal opinions as presidential positions, insisting that the aide does not speak for the president on Rivers affairs. He urged Bwala to focus on the disease, stressing that the ongoing feud between Wike and Fubara should not be reduced to misleading narratives amid efforts to resolve the protracted crisis. Barrister Sims, I'm sure you did also watch that particular interview. Bwala had a lot to say. And so far, within Rivers State political ecosystem, it has caused a lot of ruckus, some for and some against. But I'm interested to know what you have to also say in this case of Bwala.
You see, the point is, in Bwala's case, I saw Bwala as a politician. He's a politician. And I wouldn't blame him because it was maybe a message that somebody couldn't pass across. He now said, please help me pass this message. And whoever did that may not be the president. Tinubu is wise. You understand the point now? Tinubu is very wise, but there are speculations here and there of the actions he's going to take concerning Wike, the FCT minister. A lot of people will say they will soon sack him. So anything at all that we denigrate or disdain Nyesom Wike, people are ready to go after it, whether it's true or not. Now, profiling the substance of Bwala's statement, yes, Wike has never said that he's a member of APC, as the case may be. Two, is that 001 of APC, like he rightly said, is not a 001 of a PDP. You understand the point now? PDP has their 001. ADC have their 001. But when it comes to political leadership in the state, called Rivers State, that is where the problem is. That is APC, PDP, etc. Who is the political leader in Rivers State? There was a time Odili was political leader, even when he was not governor. There was a time Amechi was a political leader, even when he was not a governor of the state. People run to him. People want to come and consult and need Rivers vote. After visiting the government, they will go and visit that man. He is not a governor of the state. You understand the point? Now they go and visit him. It means that the man has some level of political leadership. Being a governor, you are in power. There shouldn't be conflict between the governor's leadership and the political leadership of any particular state. When Aneni was alive in Edo State, the governors were there. But when no BJ or any person wants any vote from Edo State, they will visit the governor first, but they must go to Aneni's house to go and eat the jam and the goosey soup and tell you the reason why they are in Edo State. That tells you that the man is a leader. And even some of them who go to Aneni's house first won't go to the governor's house. So people should distinguish between, political leadership in the state and governorship or governors of the state. In terms of governing the state, Steve is number one. He has the state at his disposal. Political leadership He cannot say because he's APC governor that he becomes a political leader to a PDP, a chairman of the state, because they are not in the same political party. So he can, you understand? So that issue has been settled. Just those who don't understand begin to, make this look very murky. Now, going to what Boala said, he said, Wike has been settled. I listened to that, compensated. The source of compensation is what I don't understand. I think Boala should be profiled and asked a question. So when those members who are in Tinubu's cabinet, who are ministers today, they are being compensated also? I don't understand. Is it that the Minister of Defense has been compensated for his support for Tinubu? The Minister for Finance, has he been compensated? So because he has been compensated, he should not even participate in politics of their own state. Wale Edu still runs politics of Lagos State. Tinubu as a president still goes to Lagos State because he made no into politics there, as the case may be. There was a time the House of Assembly of Lagos State had issues where Obasa, the speaker, was dethroned, removed. What happened? Tinubu called all of them and took them to Abuja. But they came back, they were singing a different song. If he was not interested in, why did he meddle into it as a president? These are questions you should be asking. So when you begin to ask Wike to face whatever, I begin to laugh at people. I don't really understand what that means. People do not know that yes, Wike is an asset to APC. This man cannot, and I keep repeating it, that Tinubu cannot drop yes or Wike for any other person in Rivers State here. Why am I saying this? Is because there are those who are political liabilities, political assets. Yes, Wike is not a political liability, but a political asset to any particular platform he wants to do. Why I'm saying that is because his sagacity and dexterous, nature of doing things and politics. I have seen that this is a man who has been there, he has fought political battles and won and lost none of them. In this particular case, as I speak to you, the president will not even talk. Have you ever seen Tinubu come out one day? Apart from the statement Tinubu has made when they asked him this question, I think Abati and the rest of them asked him this question. He told them point blank on national television and said, this man, I respect him so much. This man is my confidant. He said it. The president has not withdrawn that. He has not recanted. So that statement alone has currency. Just like 33 kVA transformer outside there. If you touch it, it will shock you and kill you. So the man has spoken. So until and unless the president now come and interview again and I say, no, this man is worthless, before I begin to take people like this seriously. That is why you find out that I am not bothered. We have some time coming now. Very soon, we will know who is who in this political, whatever that we are doing in Rivers State today. The Serengeti is very rough. I know that when there is rainfall, rainy season, Serengeti is always like that. But when there is dry season, when the chips are done, where you have to leave your place to go and foray to get what to eat, that is where you see the lion will not show that he is truly a king of the jungle, as case may be. So I believe that Boala has said his own whatever. It's a statement made by a politician. And for Boala to say this, I don't even take him seriously. Because he's a man that we have seen that he's as flexible in terms of opinion and in terms of followership, just like the British weather. How do you look at him now? A man who ferociously criticized, Tinubu and said Tinubu was this and that when he was serving Atiku Abubakar. Now he's with Tinubu in Tinubu's camp. What will now happen to him is that he is now praising the same Tinubu he denigrated and disdained. So these are characters that litter the political firmament and ecosystem in Nigeria. And when we look at people like this, who are just entertainers, and entertainers look for money to take care of their family and their structure, which is so much whatever the case may be, they don't really care, what happens, except their side of the bread is buttered. So a man of that caliber, I don't take him seriously.
All right.
So it's a hamburger of news of this nature. Before you know it, the next 6 months, he recant and say, I never made such statements.
Right. Now, to a large extent, there, within Rivers State political ecosystem, a lot of people are saying, that the person who would have made this statement and it will be taken with a pinch of salt is Bayo Onanuga, who is known as the spokesperson of the president. a lot of persons are dismissing Boala's statement as personal opinion and not reflecting the position of the president. But on the other hand, if we are to periscope a little bit of the history of Boala and what may inform some of these comments, one would say to a large extent, recall that during the 2023 elections and leading to the 2023 elections, it was more like animosity between the person of Boala and the FCT minister, considering that the FCT minister worked for the emergence of President Tinubu while Boala worked for Atiku. And that running has been there long before that tension to a large extent has been there. And if that has not, can one now say, oh, going by the history, when you trace the history of Boala, and then with regards to the FCT minister, what their relationship has been, they've not enjoyed the best of relationship at all. Now, if one is to look at that and also considering their political interest, right, and their political history, one would now also question if Boala was the right person. Let's just assume that President is even sending out someone. Would Boala have been the right person, considering his history, to address River State's matter on a national television?
See,
and why is it that, anyway, go ahead.
You see, when I want to send a message to that I feel is not too important, I'll call a small boy and say, please help me drop this thing in that trash can. But if I want to deal with issues, be that these issues are, I really mean these issues, I'm going to send an emissary that is up there.
Who understands diplomacy?
Not just who understands the diplomacy, who is close to me.
Okay.
Who is like a mouthpiece to me. Like if you see in a family now, I'm the head of the family. And my last son goes out and begin to say things. You will not take him seriously. Be looking at you, are you sure your father said this kind of a thing? But when my wife or my senior son now come and say, my dad says this, I will begin to take him more seriously. So in the hierarchy, even in the hierarchy in the kitchen cabinet, is Boala even close to president? I'm sure he has not even seen President Tinubu for the past 3 months. Apart from television, you see him just like the way we are seeing him now. I can attest to that. I'm sure that he even knows the itinerary of the president. He sits in the office and be looking at television. We say he's traveling tomorrow. So okay, president is traveling. He begin to craft and go and ask Oga, is it true that Oga is leaving? He say yes. So he might not even be close to. You understand? But see, I participated in government at the state level. Now, when the governor is moving up and down, he has so many appointments, essay on this. He does not. The governor doesn't even know them. Many of them, they were foisted on him as part of the office. He doesn't even know their names. So the head of that department will say, "Okay, look, we have been so quiet and silent. Oh. The governor is not even looking our way. No budget to even move around. We come to the office every morning, by 6 o'clock, we gather our bag and go back home. It's like we're not relevant with this. That is the kind of thing Boala is doing there. We're not relevant in the scheme of things. Now, what happens is that you begin to make noise so that the president or the governor will now know that this department still exists. Because the president wants to churn out, real statement for the presidency. You saw what Bayo Nanuga did to Boala the last time now. There was a time they had a conflict. He now told them, this one exists. This is the real spokesperson. I don't know if you understand. Yeah. So, we have core spokesmen and spokesperson, and we have peripheral, spokesperson, who are just like, what is this animal in the forest, jackal? You understand? Or this animal that can crack bone, I've forgotten the name. We have that animal there that moves around. It's an opportunistic animal. It hardly kills. But we wait on those people that have killed, the animals have killed, and now go after them and begin to chew the remains. That is the office of Boala in my own situation. Talking about Wike, himself and Wike, they are not even the same class, politically speaking. So he's a boy to whoever, but his office is just trying to make his office relevant, as the case may be. So it was an opinion of his, not the opinion of the presidency.
Now, to a large extent, Boala is the special advisor to the president on policy communication.
Okay, policy communication.
Policy communication.
Okay.
Bayo Onanuga is the presidential spokesperson.
Good.
There are two different things.
Absolutely. So the policy now,
policy communication, he will advise his special advisor. He's an SA.
Yes.
That's a special advisor to the president on policy communication. So basically, he's expected to advise the president on policy communication. That does not translate to the president's mouthpiece. That does not translate to being the spokesperson for the president.
That is why I'm saying that there are offices that are irrelevant.
Look at their portfolio.
Yes.
One would say that Bayo Onanuga is the actual spokesperson for the president.
Of course, we know. Apart from, but we also have other senior ranking, people in that office with Bayo Onanuga, down to. That's why I'm saying that really of Boala's office, I really cannot say. You understand? There are some of them who don't even have enclosed office. They sit outside. I've seen people like that. You see some governors, they say, this is my essay, but the essay does not have an office where he can sit down. He has a chair and a table in front of him. If he does not come on time, another person sit on that particular this or that, it becomes a problem. So everybody will go there with that Targeta State House as he's coming and he's telling his friends, this is what is happening. The president or the governor that does not even know that such people exist. He does not know. It is the chief of staff that will not come and say, he say, this is from the spokesperson. Okay, who is the name? He say, what is the name? They say, that boy used to say on TV. That's how it is. But when president want to talk, talk that is meaningful, he will call Onanuga of media communication. There are those who are media communication. Like if you look at Simple, but I have a man that communicates his messages. Once I see that man's signature, I know it's from the governor.
All right. Not
other essays who are hanging around the corners or whatever as case may be.
All right.
So that is the situation for me.
All right. Moving on. River State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria has criticized elder statesmen taking sides in the state's protracted political crisis, describing their conduct as shameful and divisive. Khan warned that the crisis has gone beyond political disagreement and now threatens governance, peace, security, and the well-being of residents. Speaking at a press briefing in Port Harcourt, Khan chairman Dr. Dokiberia Kaladokubo said elders who act as voices of wisdom were instead encouraging instability through partisan utterances. He lamented that governance in the state was slipping into uncertainty, exposing citizens to insecurity, economic hardship, and loss of livelihoods. Kaladokubo stressed that while disagreements are normal in a constitutional democracy, progress depends on dialogue and peaceful resolution. He said Khan would not remain silent while political leaders pursue personal interests at the expense of governance, urging both the executive and the legislature to halt hostilities and embrace restraint. To promote peace, Khan announced a one-day fasting and prayer program scheduled for February 5, 2026 in Port Harcourt. The association reaffirmed its commitment to peace, justice, and reconciliation, warning that continued division by political actors and elder statesmen could have lasting and destructive consequences for River State. Barrister Singh, what is you're smiling?
No, the one that got me there was they have to do a one-day fast.
One day prayer.
One prayer and fasting. I can go and fast for politicians. I can't do that, please. Please, with due respect to them, I understand you. Fast for us, those people who are suffering on the street right now.
But this is coming on the heels of, you recall that last week, the Salvation Ministry, Pastor David Ibioni, said that River State political problem is now spiritual.
That is, yes, I profile that matter.
It's coming on the heels. I want you to look at both statements side by side. And while Khan is calling out elders, calling out the partisanship of River State elders in this crisis, the sister organization of FAN, PFN, had also, met calls, similar calls, but in a very different direction, because they took a side and they slammed the impeachment process against the governor. So now we have a pastor of a big church in Rivers State saying it is a spiritual problem, not forgetting that this particular church, practically all the leaders and all the governors in Rivers State usually go to that church for some reason. And then we now have PFN talking and we have CAN. So I want you to look at these three, profile all of them.
If I want to start with Ibiyome David, Pastor Ibiyome, I will say God will bless him. You know, why I'm saying that is because of the fact that he didn't play politics with the matter.
Okay.
But rather he used diplomacy. Now, if you look at the statement, it doused tension. You see, that is how you see leaders should speak. You understand? Leaders should read the mood of the society and calm it down. Now, assuming a pastor, David Ibiyome, had come out to say, it is wicked at discussing this whole problem. Well, pray to, you know what that would have been in Rivers State. Or if you come out to say it is sinful bara, that is the problem of this. It's not an analyst. It's a spiritual leader. So, in the Bible of the Old, the spiritual leaders only say things that will make community come together, not to scatter the community. So, in that wise, he does the tension. He may have been misquoted if he had said something different from there. It now becomes a political narrative. So, for that, I see him as a leader.
But is the problem in Rivers State, is the political crisis in Rivers State spiritual?
An economist will view it that the problem of Rivers State is economical. That is because Wike and they want to dip their hand inside they are fighting because of budget.
All right.
Is that not an economic view?
That's a perspective.
A perspective. So you have different views of this matter. You see, the social view will tell you that because he did not agree join court, did not agree join, that is the reason why they are quarreling. Or maybe there's issues in their court related, whatever. So it's a different. Now, the political mind will now say because of the agreement they signed, he didn't follow the terms of the agreement. So you have different views to it. Seeing an elephant depends on where you see it from.
Right.
That is normal. That's why I said Ibiyome was very, very okay. And he did something. Let me tell you, one of the attributes of a leader which he showed that particular day is for a leader to read the mood and not to exacerbate situations. And don't play politics with it. Now, PFN came and started, blabbing. Of course, they may have injured the psyche of some of their members. Because some of their members who are in the PFN there are supporters of one of these people. When the head of that church, of that PFN, Pentecostal Fellowship, make a statement, if I'm a member, I'll be looking at him and say, he hate my leader. He is conniving with the other person. So, when you say this, you are polarizing the state more than usual. For CAN came up now with another brilliant, all of them, they are talking about peace. The only person already talking about peace was PFN. Pastor Ibiyome was talking about peace. He said it's spiritual. That he's praying for this and that it will be resolved. PFN did not give their own way of solution about peace. CAN also came and said they are going to do fasting so that peace will reign. You understand the point now? That tells you that these people, Pastor Ibiyome, CAN, for me, are the real statesmen in Rivers State. Now, why do I say that? Abraham Lincoln, finest president of America, which we regard today as the father of democracy, said, that a statesman is a man that is politically dead. You understand? That is what politically dead. That is why you see kings today. APC will come, PDP will come to their district. The same message he passed is the same message going to pass to that person. But if he wants to play politics and not give handkerchief to this person, you are the one I anoint. There will be uproar in his kingdom. Do you understand the point now? So a statesman is he that is politically dead. That is number one. Number two is that Mahatma Gandhi, talking about peace, he said peace, war, does not know who is right and who is left, but who has gone. That is war. If you are fighting war, people don't want to know who is right. They go say, "Na me." They will say, but the only thing we know is that the number, say about 30 people are dead. Now they go with that. The other one is said that the most disadvantageous of all peace is better than a just war. That is Mahatma Gandhi speaking to you. They are talking about peace and how man should coexist for peaceful atmosphere. So Khan and David Ibiyome pastor appreciate their inputs for calling for peace. Just assuming they had added their voices, taking sides on this matter. By now the state will be boiling. But they say this is what the man said, though. Nobody will listen to the other side again. So if this man has endorsed, that is the end of the game. So they are statesmen. And when Khan says there are no statesmen in Rivers again, for me, I believe so. I saw a former governor of this state run up and down. He went into oblivion when there was a peace accord. When the governor was, having accord with his godfather, Yesowike, that period before the second this came in, he voice again. All those men who were there, who acted as statesmen, advising this young man at that time, went into oblivion near abyss. You couldn't listen, you couldn't even hear them. On radio, television, whatever, they were not coming out, they were not prominent again. But immediately, the issue was coming up smoking again. Suddenly they came out from somewhere and now doing meetings with the governor on how to get at the other man. The only person amongst the rest that has not spoken is Amechi said, you are just dealing on the hate for that is why you think that you have this power, people love you. He went his own way. You understand? But the others, they go after and say, this man is the person creating problem. This one is the other person doing all this one, as case may be. Some of the old people that I thought were no longer in Port Harcourt, we are suddenly hearing their voices now, supporting the government to go ahead and say, you must deal with this man. None of them want to know exactly what happened. They are fixated in the sense that they now say, he's the man we hate, so we must fight him to the death. So this is the situation. So I praise the two of them can. I praise also David Ibiyome and I admonish PFN.
All right. Moving forward on to PDP. People's Democratic Party has withdrawn its suit against the Nigerian police over the blockade of its national secretariat, citing concerns of judicial partiality. The party filed a notice of discontinuance in the case, which sought an order directing the police to vacate the premises and hand it over to the party's recognized leadership. In a statement issued on Friday, PDP National Publicity Secretary Ini Emobong said the decision was taken due to the party's belief that it would not receive a fair hearing before Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of the Federal High Court, Abuja. He alleged that the party had earlier expressed lack of confidence in some judges and was surprised that the case was still assigned to Justice Abdul Malik. The PDP claimed it filed a motion requesting the judge to recuse herself, but faulted her decision to defer ruling on the application until judgment. According to the party, this approach undermined fair hearing, as it had already declared a complete loss of trust in the judge's impartiality in matters involving the PDP. Although the party maintained that its notice of discontinuance was filed in line with court rules, it expressed dismay that the court dismissed the suit instead of striking it out. Despite the experience, the PDP said it retained respect for the judiciary, urging judges to maintain strict independence from political influence in the interest of democracy. Mr. Sims, your take. And very quickly, I want to understand, what's the difference between striking out a suit and dismissing a suit?
Striking out is that when a suit is struck out, you can file again.
Okay.
But if it's dismissed, you go on appeal.
Okay.
Once a matter is dismissed, you cannot go back to that. You just go on appeal.
Okay.
Against the dismissal. But striking out is that you may come back.
All right.
So striking out is that you still have an opening for you to file. Maybe I found out that there was an error somewhere. I didn't impute these facts.
Yes.
I'll just file my notice. Take out this. The matter is struck out. then I'll now go and prepare my whatever, then file again.
All right.
You understand? I can even come back to that same court for releasement. They can release that same matter, you know, as the case, even though it has been struck out. I will now come before the court with a motion to say, this is the reason why I have to discontinue, so I have to pull out and withdraw, as the case may be, but this is why I need it to be back on the court list. I beg the court to do that. If they agree, they will release that matter for me. Right. So that is the situation. Now, in this case, where it has become so dangerous for the judicature, if litigants now begin to determine the judge or judges that will handle their cases, we are heading to anarchy or anomie. That is, judiciary has lost everything. That is what it means. If the people begin to say, oh, they say the matter is assigned to a judge, you now say, no, please, I don't think I will have fair hearing in that court. That is a very dangerous precedent. And it will also lower the psyche of the judges. How do you think Abdul Malik, now the judge, will feel? He might, the judges cannot talk openly. They are there. If you like, you insult them, you fight them or whatever. They cannot come out to be on television and begin to defend themselves. So you don't know why. So they will just be looking at it. They will not say, okay, why is it that I'm so hated? It might bring them and reduce their work, rate and whatever attitude and psychology, feeling not too happy. So these are the things that do happen. It's very unfortunate. Now, litigants should be very careful. So what we need to do also is that the NJC should come out and see if they can restore, that public confidence in litigants in Nigeria. Honestly speaking, I don't know what that department is doing, where they can come out and speak to the public to say, no, see, judges are like this. Though we have some bad eggs, but we have some very good ones. For instance, you promote judges who have gone above whatever. Like we in the lawyers category, we have what we call senior advocates, even though not all of them merit it. Some went through the corners because the essence of that sonship is not by whatever. You don't buy it. It is by merit. You do it by merit. So why can't we set up a foundation where a judge who has done extremely well, we have many judges, you put them in that particular role, and you can call a name, you can say judge one thing, you put his picture everywhere, that this judge is very, very okay, he gets international award. You even write to the embassies that this man, anytime he wants to go, is above board, he's a star judge. You understand the point now? Let them promote those kind of judges so that we can begin to have faith in the judiciary once more.
And also be an incentive.
An incentive to them. People have it. The other day, about 5 days ago or so, I had a matter that I felt should go to court. But you know what the client told me? He said, I was in the office, he now called me and said, Barrister, please stop. No need, don't prepare that this again. I don't have confidence in the judiciary. If I file this thing now, once I file this, whatever now, can you assure me that they will determine this matter before February ending? You understand? I said I can't say because I cannot dictate for the courts. The courts know their procedure, whatever. Their diary is superior to mine. The man has said, well, there's no need. And let me not go and file. I spend 5 years. We have not still gotten judgment, even in the high court. Supreme Court never reached there. So it means it may take 20 years to reach there. And now I tried convincing the man. He said, no, the best thing for me to do is that let me use the traditional method to go and solve this problem. Let me reach out to my king and see if he can call two of us. We are from the same town. Let's see if he can call two of us and adjudicate upon us to get instant justice. So the judicature and the CJ and NJC should do things like that. For instance, that is why you say I was so bitter about this Oyibo High Court ruling. See the speed in which they got that order. Why can't I get an order when my client is being threatened by police? They have invited him. And I feel that if he goes there, they will detain him. They are going to take money from him or the EFCC. Then I go to court and say, I go to that court and say, these people are paying me. Court will not write, say, don't arrest him. You come to explain to us, first of all, whether this man has committed that offense or not. They will not give you that preliminary hearing before we do it. They just throw the matter away. They'll just strike it out and say we cannot stop police from performing their duties under the Constitution. But you are stopping the legislature from performing their duties under the Constitution. Because maybe you have so much money there, you have so much limelight there. Like, we didn't know if Ibrahim Simaipo as a judge there. Her name has gone right worldwide now because he handled a political matter. Whereas, a judge should be getting credit for the number of human rights breaches she was able to save and dispense. In other crimes, in the UK, a judge is working to make sure that nobody is arrested or jailed, lawfully and illegally. So they get more from there. But here, they make name by way of political matters. Even this Justice Malik, you know why they are doing that? There's a particular political case she handled. That is why PDP is supposed to go before her. Because there's a particular case she handled, a political matter that went against PDP, so they are very happy. And the other faction, they are not happy now. So, if it were to be fundamental human rights that we saw the judge doing his work, even if they say they are not good, people will say, no, that judge is not what you think. So, I cannot even blame them now for doing whatever they are doing. Because the judiciary has messed up itself. A judge will sit down and see a motion ex parte in a crucial matter like that. You can't even tell the people, say, no, please. The only thing I will say is that go back to these people, face the panel. If I see any of this thing, that will stop the whatever as case may be. Because I cannot stop them from doing their work. But you now go and rely on one precedent and say Supreme Court that did that. But relying on precedent, in the Supreme Court cases for human rights, you don't do it. A particular judge cited Asari Dokubo's case that whenever there is a emergency in the country, that human rights are suspended. Can you imagine that kind of a thing? That is the judiciary. That is whenever there's crisis or whatever state of emergency, the human rights suspended.
Then there is no right to life.
I don't know if you understand. That is judiciary of Nigeria.
All right.
So you also said if you can make such pronouncement, because somebody came to you to say, save me. If I go to DSS, I will die there. You say you must go and answer them. I can't stop them. That whenever there is crisis in Nigeria, that everything about your human rights is suspended. That's why they kept Nnamdi Kanu for 10 years. For 10 years. They couldn't adjudicate on this matter. But political matter like this, look at them, run up and down. Within 2 seconds, a matter was filed 10 o'clock. By 10:30, you are giving judgment or order. In the same court. But Nnamdi Kanu's application was before you. For weeks, months, years. So what kind of judiciary do we have? So it's sad.
All right.
I'm so sad about I'm not happy about these precedents. Talking about precedent and law versus against me.
All right.
So the PDP is like if they don't want to go to Malik, but it's dangerous as the case may be.
Okay. Thank you very much, Barrister Asim Adams. It's a pleasure having you today.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Infastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ugu. See you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.